Welcome to Motherhood Unstressed, a podcast for anyone who wants to let go of stress and anxiety and learn how to be more fully present in life. Each week, I'm speaking with experts in the fields of entrepreneurship, nutrition, mindset, sex, spirituality, and so much more. I'm your host, Liz Carlisle. I'm a writer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur. Through my own struggle to balance the demands of motherhood and life, I discovered that to truly be happy, we need to be present. Your journey to feeling less stressed and more blissfully present in your own life starts right now. This episode is sponsored by Motherhood Unstressed CBD. Why try CBD? Well, I have to say, why not? Because the worst case scenario, if you try CBD, you won't feel anything, which is highly unlikely, but hey, it can happen. The best case scenario is that you feel more grounded, more calm, more like who you really are when you're not overburdened with stress, anxiety, pain, inflammation, all of those negative things that are a reality in our current fast-paced world. So head on over to motherhoodunstressed.com and click the Shop CBD tab to get yours today. And this episode is sponsored by Ancient Nutrition. Guys, I just spent a month trying Ancient Nutrition's new line of probiotics. I did the skin one and the ultimate version. And they actually have several different versions on their website that are based in Ayurvedic medicine. So what you do is you go to the website, you take a quiz, and based on your results, they recommend the perfect probiotic for you. And spending money on something like probiotics it's not something you want to waste your money on. And so Ancient Nutrition is giving you the best. They are the gold standard in probiotics. So you definitely want to go with a company where you're not wasting your money and you're actually getting a product that is going to help you. And why would you even take a probiotic? I get that question all the time. And it's because the food that we have now in our system is not what it used to be. You used to be able to get all of the bacteria that you would need, all that good bacteria, from dirt on your food. And that was okay because it was organic and that was, what we've been eating for millennia. But that's not the case anymore. Farms are completely depleted of nutrition. Food is sprayed and cleaned so that it can be shipped all over the country. And so you're not getting those key bacteria that you need to have a good, healthy gut biome. So that's where Ancient Nutrition probiotics come in. So definitely go check them out and take the quiz and find out what probiotic would work best for you. Well, hello, Marta. Welcome to the show. I am so glad that you're here. I'm so excited to talk about everything that you're doing in the world, the women that you're helping, your mission, your passion, everything. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to talk yet again.
Yeah, I know. I was on your show a little bit ago. I had such a blast. And really, I think we serve a lot of the same women. I mean, we're talking about purpose. We're talking about fulfillment, especially because most of us are mothers who are tuning into this show. So why don't you, for those who don't already know you, why don't you give them a little bit of background about you, your origin story, and how that led to you being an empowerment coach and a business coach?
Okay. So it's always hard to know how far back to go. So I'm originally from Brazil and I have been a teacher for as long as I can remember, pretty much starting, teaching English. And I feel like a lot of the empowerment comes from there too. And my mom is a pastor. And so a lot of the empowerment comes from that as well, because I've always been involved in church and worship, in encouraging people and, being a part of a community. And because of my obsession with American culture, eventually I married an American and I moved to the US. We tried Brazil for a while, but it wasn't really what we wanted. So we came back, and in the middle of this whole thing, I had triplets. So that's an important detail there, because I feel like that is really what led me here, was experiencing motherhood at a whole other level, which I know, regardless of how many kids you have, it's intense, right? I mean, it's something, and I remember even in our interview, you talking about, having your first son and realizing like, what is going on with me right now? And it's the same, I feel maybe more intense because of being a stay-at-home mom, being away from my family, not having a whole lot of help, and realizing that things changed, right? I'm not the same person as I used to be. I feel kind of stuck because I have little people that depend on me so much. And It's just a different reality. And I realized that very soon. And so that's why when my kids were 9 months old, I decided I was going to start a business empowering women. And it's changed and evolved over time. Like I've helped women in different ways. And this is something that I've actually been talking about lately on social media, is that I've realized, the business focus has changed a little bit, but the overarching mission has been the same. I want to encourage moms to find purpose in life, to find what lights them up outside of motherhood so that they can be present as moms, as wives, and everything. And this is what I do.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So, I mean, why was it so important that, your key demographic really was these women, was these moms? Was it because that's what you went through personally?
Yeah, I feel like the entire time I've just been going through this journey and finding things that help me, and then realizing I want to share this with other moms that might be feeling what I was feeling a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and be like, hey, I found this and this is what I'm doing, and it's helping me, and it's helping me understand myself better. And this is the whole thing. It's like getting to know yourself. That's like the key of my message, is that so much happens throughout life. We become adults, and then we kind of lose our identity because we get involved with different people, different environments. And I feel like when we become moms, this is even stronger because we're taking care of other people, so much. We're so engrossed in this work that we lose our essence even more. And in a way, it's kind of hard to say that. And I get some kind of backlash once in a while with people saying, but it's the most amazing thing that you could ever do is be a mom. How can you, say that you're feeling unfulfilled or that you're losing yourself? Like you're not a penny. I've seen quotes out there, like you're not a penny in the street. And it's like, yeah, but how else do you explain this? Like, it's hard to explain because it's feelings, it's emotions, it's things you've never felt before until you become a mom. And it's different for everyone. Maybe some moms don't feel like that because they have a different support system, whatever. But lots of moms that I encounter, myself included, go through this process of, what the heck am I doing with my life right now? Like, you don't see past the daily chores that you're, working through. And it's kind of like a prison sometimes. And it's hard to even admit that to yourself because you're supposed to be so grateful. And you are. It doesn't mean that you're not. You know what I mean? So it's just like, because this is what I was going through, I wanted to share it and help moms that might be feeling the same thing, to say, I'm looking for things to help myself out, and this has been helping me. Here, let me show you, and this may help you too. And it has been the case. So
yeah. And I love that you said that. And I love that you use the word prison, because I feel like so many women are afraid to admit that, because they are so grateful. They are so in love with their children, and feeling like you don't have it all together, or you don't really know where your essence went. I love that word too.
Yeah.
And it's something that changes every single day, because one day you might feel amazing, and then the next day you're like, who am I? What is this life that I've created? What did I do? What am I doing here?
Yes.
So I really find that alone, that statement is so empowering. But why do you think so many women struggle with putting themselves first, taking the time, because it does take time to say, hey, I'm going to nurture you, meaning, themselves today?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it has to do with, how society used to be. And this is something that I've been working with women recently, is going back into their past and figuring out the role models that they've had growing up, and the stories, the beliefs, the things that have been instilled in them, because these are the very things that are holding you back from doing anything in life, because it's what you learned. It's not their fault. It's not your fault. It's just what happened. But until you revisit that to see what's going on, you don't understand what's going on with you right now. So that's why the whole process of self-reflection, self-discovery, and self-awareness is so important, because until you realize what exactly is going on inside of you, you can't deal with that. And then we don't take the time to even do that. And I feel we don't take the time to do that because it's all very intertwined and potentially confusing, but because we've had these things growing up, like we've seen our moms staying at home and, ideally feeling fulfilled with what she was doing, or, everything around us, or even, think about movies and books and things that you read. There is a stereotype. There is this expectation of you're going to stay home. You're going to be the best cook. You're going to be, cleaning everything and picking up after everybody. That's what you're going to do. That's your life. And you just have to conform to that because this is what you signed up for when you decided you were going to conceive. Right. And things have changed. And,
Yeah,
and,
100%.
and, with the internet, and there's a whole other story in itself with the internet, because now, even though we have more freedom to even, say these things or everything, then there's the comparison with other moms and with the highlight reel and everything. So, many things have evolved into saying you don't have to conform to that if you don't want to. But at the same time, there are other challenges. So it's not like, you just do whatever you want and you don't have to pay attention to your kids, which is not what we're trying to do anyways. But I feel like it's the exterior pressure that creates an internal pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you were talking, I was thinking there's so many women. I would think that you help mostly stay-at-home moms who don't really know who they are. But at the same time, I know so many women who work who feel the exact same way. They're rushing to the job, they're doing the job, and then they're rushing home, and they never really have that time either to decide, what is good for me? What do I want right now? They're in the same situation. It's different, but it's also very similar. And again, I think it's because you've got all of this external pressure. You have to be the best employee. You have to be the best mother. And it's like, where is the time for that self-reflection, for that, deconstructing all those layers to decide, who am I?
Yes,
it's so fascinating.
Exactly.
Do you help a lot of women who work too?
There are some. I feel like the focus really is stay-at-home moms. And it's funny because I've been preparing like a presentation. I've been trying to go off and do like speaking events and everything. And I was looking into like statistics specifically to talk about like postpartum depression and just these feelings of anger and anxiety. And there are lots of studies out there that show that stay-at-home moms do feel these feelings more than women that work outside the home. And it is because you don't have that sense of accomplishment, because when you work, it's like, okay, I finished a project today. That's amazing. I did something, and then at home, it's like, I did the same thing that I did yesterday, which was change diapers, clean. And sometimes I didn't even finish it all the way because the dishes are still dirty. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you never get ahead because you always have to do the same thing over and over again. So there is this sense of, which is different, especially if you had a career before, right? To be like, I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. What is my life? Which is what you just said too.
Yeah, no, that's so interesting. And I didn't know that there were even studies like that out there.
Yeah.
So what are some key things that, the listener, we've talked about what's happening. We've addressed the problem or the issue. What are some things that the listener can do starting right now today to raise their vibration, to kind of ease into becoming happier and more fulfilled?
Yeah, I feel like when I interviewed you, you touched on that a lot, which is, having a self-care routine in essence. And I feel like self-care may have gotten a little bit played out because it's like, go get your nails done, self-care. So you know what I mean? And it will look different for everybody because you have to find what you love and what works for you with your routine. And I feel like that changes over time because you're going to find things that work for you in that moment in your life. And then you'll get over it and find other things. So it's hard to say, this is the perfect recipe, do this. And I feel like there's several authors out there and people that have created different recipes that you can follow, but I don't know if necessarily you can do that exact thing forever. Maybe it's just me because I kind of get bored with stuff easily and then I try to find other stuff. But I feel like that's the importance of actually being resourceful and looking for things for yourself. But if you're not even taking the time, you're not even going to find anything. So first and foremost, make that decision, right? And what I love so much is, of course, waking up before my kids, setting the tone for the day. I believe doing that in the morning is super important. It's not like that if you don't do it every day, your day is ruined, but you do notice a difference when you are doing it consistently and then you stop. Like we went on vacation for a while and it's hard to do that when you're in like a hotel room or a condo with your entire family, to do the things that you do at home when you can sneak away. So it's like you kind of get off routine and then you notice your thoughts are different. The feelings that you feel about yourself are different. You find yourself getting more anxious and all of that. So I would say creating that self-care routine, and for me, I guess I'll speak for myself and what I encourage women to do, is having that time for like meditation, for journaling. And journaling can look different for everybody. Myself, because I'm such a talker, I have never been able to just open up blank document on the computer or even a paper and just write for hours or minutes. Like I can't do that. I like prompted stuff. Or to just write 10 things I'm grateful for, 10 things I'm proud of. Make it simple so that I don't overwhelm myself. And listening to podcasts, that are encouraging for you. Having a book. I've been reading a book. I've been reading this one book that I've loved by Gabby Bernstein called May Cause Miracles. And it's actually daily prompts for morning and night for 40 days. And it's been so fun because she tells you what to do for, that in the morning, and also things that you should be mindful of throughout the day, specific ideas for that specific day, which is nice because that's the whole purpose of the morning routine. It's not that you're going to do that and done. It's to create that awareness throughout the day as well. So it's constant work. I found a quote the other day that says, working on your happiness is a full-time job. And it is. It's not like you do something and then it's done, right? It's supposed to be all throughout the day, you thinking about being aware of how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and all of that. So I would say a morning routine, and also including exercise, and throughout the day with healthy nutrition. I feel like all of these things come into play and are things that anyone can do. Start today, right now. But of course, you have to find the resources and kind of create what works for you.
Right. Create the environment so that it actually can happen.
Yes.
And I don't want, the listener listening to this is like, oh my gosh, that's so much stuff. It's like nutrition and you got to meditate and you got to journal and you got to read this book. And I don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. So I just want to not stress you, but I just want to stress that, it is difficult in the beginning. It is when you're making a change like this for yourself, for your happiness. Yeah, it's not easy at the beginning. But I promise you, and I know that you can attest to this, the more that you do it, like anything else, it gets easier and easier and easier. And then all of a sudden, you're not going to skip your morning. Right. That's for you. And, that's non-negotiable.
Yes.
And so, to the person listening to this right now, like it does get easier. You just have to have that intention and make that decision to make it happen, because you're right. It changes the game. It changes everything.
Mm-hmm. It's creating habits, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a habit. And once it's a habit, it's a no-brainer. Like me working out every single day, I work out every single day. I don't even think about it. You know, it's not like, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go run. No, it's like, my body starts to get excited. Like, it's my time. I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's something that happens over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of all those things that you mentioned, which one is your favorite and why?
I guess, working out is a big one. But I think because I've been so engrossed with like business building and everything, that it's like a given almost, that I will do it eventually at some point in the day. And even if I don't do it today, I will make it a point to do it tomorrow because I know I need it and I can't skip because of my schedule or whatever happens. Mm-hmm. I feel like I have really loved just sitting down, turning my diffuser on and writing down those things that I'm grateful for. And because it's a quiet time, like it's different vibes. Like when you're working out, you're tuning everything out because you have to be so focused on what you're doing, but you're moving, right? When you're sitting down and you're just, it's quiet and you're just thinking about, because it prompts you to think, right? When you're working out, you're not really thinking because that's the whole purpose.
Right.
And with this, it's actually like, what am I grateful for? And then remembering moments that made you happy and all of that. So I really like that. And that's something that I notice the most, that when I don't do that is when I don't feel as happy, I guess, as, as centered as when I skip those moments of reflecting on, okay, yes, I'm grateful for my parents. And then I think about them and all these emotions come in and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you're doing that, I think it's actually changing the chemistry of your brain. Like you're emitting hormones and chemicals through your brain that actually change your entire body. Like they've been proving that in science, which I'm so excited about.
Yes.
So just to kind of put a bow on everything, we covered a lot. What's something that you really want the listener to remember from you and from this talk?
So I usually, when people ask me that, because I'm so big on motivation and encouragement, because that's what I do for myself. When I encourage somebody else, I'm essentially encouraging myself. And that's why I love this work so much, is always telling moms out there to remember that they are amazing, that they are doing a great job, regardless of where they're at right now, because you are where you are because of the decisions that you've made, and you can't change that. So you can't change the past. So you have to be grateful for where you are right now. I'm sure there are things that you can be proud of, even if you are, looking into the future and wanting change and wanting to be somewhere else or do something else. There are things that you can be happy for right now, including yourself, right? That you can be proud of, essentially, because I think we forget that. We look so much for validation from the outside, and that we forget that the first validation comes from within. And that's why, we feel so unfulfilled. It's because we're looking for that outside. And so my challenge is or my invitation is for you to look within, because all of the answers are in there. All of the love is in there. All of the happiness, all of the success, everything that you're looking for in people and in things, it's actually within. And so it really is to say, you already have everything, and you can do everything because it's coming from within. So you are the ultimate powerhouse. And when you realize that, then nothing can stop you.
Oh, I just got chills. That was so good. I love it. Also, I have to circle back. And what are some of your favorite podcasts that you're listening to for motivation, inspiration?
So one of my favorites is the Manifestation Babe. I love her, even though she's not a mom. But
that's
well,
okay.
Yeah, totally.
I listen to Tim Ferriss.
Right. Well, and the other one is a man. So it's just totally different from, my mom world. But so Manifestation Babe, Catherine Zenkina, I love her stuff because she's just so authentic and just so her. And that's one of the things that I have been learning, especially with the whole thing that I said about social media, is that she's always talking about, like, I don't have to be a certain weight. I don't have to, like, she just, blows all of that out of the water to say, you can live your best life right now. Like, you create your reality. And that's exactly what I believe in. And I learned so much from her all the time. Like, she has so much knowledge and so much insight. And the other person is Brendon Burchard, which is kind of like more business related. Actually reading his book, High Performance Habits, was the thing that catapulted me into what I'm doing right now, essentially. Oh, wow. Because he's so big in high performers. Like, what do these people do to be so successful and to be so have such high performance? And it's all about having a routine. And, he lists all of the habits, and I love how he's, always very encouraging, and always the message is pretty much like the same. The essence is, look into yourself. What can you do to change how you feel, how you think? Because that's what's going to determine your success. Because again, we look outside, right? We look to blame other people. This is why my business is not evolving. This is why I'm so miserable, because of that person, or because of, what they did to me. And it's like, okay, that I'm sure plays a part in your reality right now and makes things more difficult for you. But what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Can you change that? And can you make that better? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, that at the end of the day, that's all we can ever do. You
Yes,
can never
yes.
change anyone else. Mm-hmm. Not really. Oh,
No.
I love it. Okay. So I do have some rapid fire questions to round out the interview.
Okay. Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. An empowered life is?
Knowing yourself and truly, truly loving yourself.
Motherhood to me is?
The biggest challenge and the biggest gift.
I'm grateful for?
My life.
Love it.
Oh my gosh, you're going to make me cry.
Mission accomplished. No. Last one. What's something that you've learned in life that you wish someone would have told you earlier on?
I feel like my need for approval from others is really my lack of approval of myself. That it really starts with me. And until you understand that and you really start working on that, you are never, ever going to feel that sense of a true accomplishment and grateful or gratitude for life, because you're constantly, it's just like hamster wheel, like so exhausting. I need to have this person tell me that I'm good enough. And even if they do, you're not going to be satisfied. You know what I mean? And that's because you are not satisfied with yourself. So it has to start there.
100%. I could not agree more. Okay, so for our listeners who want to connect with you, they want to hire you, they want to have you speak, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, I am on Instagram a lot. That's like my favorite. I do have a Facebook community that I'm in as well a lot, but Instagram is by far my favorite. So Mom Does It All. But if you look for Marta Spirk, I am pretty sure I'm the only one out there because the last name is very different. So yeah, Mom Does It All podcast. And you can reach me on my website. It's martaspirk.coach, or just email me, martaspirk@gmail.com. Just Google Marta Spirk and come find me.
I love it. And of course, as always, all of this will be in the show notes for everyone listening if you're driving or working out right now. Thank you so much, Marta. This was such a pleasure. I feel encouraged. I feel empowered just talking to you. So
I know that's how I feel talking to you too.
Thank you. I love that we connected. This is beautiful.
It is. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You have been listening to the Motherhood Unstressed podcast, and I am your host, Liz Carlisle. I so enjoyed having you here, and I would love to know what you think. Reach out to me on Instagram or leave us a review, share it with a friend. Give me some feedback. Let me know what touched you or what resonated with you, because that really helps make the show better and better and better. Till next time, see ya. This episode is sponsored by Four Sigmatic. It's the Finnish company bringing you medicinal mushrooms to your coffee, or maybe just some hot water. I actually really love their matcha as well. It's one of my favorite brands of matcha. So good, and obviously the mushrooms are so incredible for your immune system. If you don't know about the power of mushrooms, do yourself a favor, Google it, and you will be amazed at just how much information is out there backed in science. So definitely get on board, and if you use the code UNSTRESSED at Four Sigmatic's website, you will save 15% at checkout.